President Biden gets his best result this election cycle in the head-to-head against former President Donald Trump. He leads 50-48. That is within the margin of error. President Biden hasn't been ahead of former President Trump in the polls since October 2023. He trailed Trump by 1 point last month. Again, all within the margin of error, a very tight race.
Biden somehow managed to make this sort of incredible jump, leapfrogging over Trump. He was behind. Let's go first to the polling for independent voters, just for the control room. He jumped ahead 12 points, so Biden is now leading Trump by 2 percentage points among independent voters. I found that pretty surprising. Everything we've been hearing would indicate he'd be going in the opposite direction.
According to a new Fox News poll, Biden is pulling ahead of Trump for the first time nationally by 2 points. This is the first time Biden has led Trump in a national average since October of last year. But not only is that well within the margin of error, but Trump is still ahead in most of the swing states. That didn't stop Trump from going on a rant slamming Fox. We have that for you here. The latest Fox News poll is trash, he writes. They used a biased, Democrat-leaning sample of voters, polling more Biden 2020 voters than Trump 2020 voters to skew the results in favor of Crooked Joe. I am leading big in virtually every other poll, including of all of the key battleground states like Wisconsin, where I just held a massive rally, in Pennsylvania, where I will be on Saturday. Also, the number one issue in this country is not protecting democracy, it is inflation and immigration. If it is protecting democracy, Trump is your best choice because Crooked Joe Biden is the greatest threat to democracy in history with his open border and weaponization of our justice system against his political opponent, me. Fox News polls have never treated me or MAGA fairly. Don't worry, we will win. Fox News should get rid of Paul Ryan and get a new pollster, but they won't. He also added, Fox News polls are always the worst for me. They have been from the beginning and always will be. Nobody can ever trust Fox News, and I am one of them. With the weak and ineffective rhino Paul Ryan on its board of directors, he's a total lightweight, a failed and pathetic Speaker of the House, and a very disloyal person. Romney was bad, but Paul Ryan made him look worse. As a team, they never had a chance. Rupert and Lachlan, get that dog off your board. You don't need him. All you need is Trump. Make America great again. Now, looking at real clear politics, Trump is still leading in the crucial swing states. Just hold that energy, Brett. I'll get to you right after this. I want your reaction to those posts. But these are the real clear politics averages. In Arizona, Trump's up 4.6. In Georgia, Trump's up 5. In Michigan, a slight edge. In Nevada, up 5.7. North Carolina, Trump 5.3. And Pennsylvania, 2.3. Wisconsin, 0.3. I mean, that is bad. If Trump takes all of those states, and granted, many of them are going to be within the margin of error, it could go either way. And there's a lot of time for Trump to lose or turn people off of his campaign. But if he wins even a couple of those states, he wins the election.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
Let's go back though to Trump's reaction. Brett, I saw you laughing. What do you make of Trump's very long reaction to these polling numbers?
I love the, all you need is Trump. Like Trump is all you need. Like it's so sad. Who are these people? That's what I want to know. Who are the people that keep going back and forth? What more? It's a rematch. What more do you need to know? Like, what just came out about Donald Trump that has you going like, ugh, now I think it's too far? What goldfish-brained weirdos are out there? Like, what else are you doing? Tell me. It sounds awesome that you might have just caught like the fourth fact about Donald Trump and you're like, oh, he's out to me. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to my collection of Pez dispensers that I spend all my time on. I can't, and you have to remind yourself, because this happens all the time. Right now, what's happening now doesn't matter. This switch, this fluctuation doesn't matter. What we've learned about Donald Trump is he can say the most horrible things, get convicted of federal crimes. He can be embroiled in the most insane controversies that would have sunk any Republican candidate in the past and any candidate at all in the past. And then kind of be fine with it. And people don't like, that's the one side of the analysis. The other side of the analysis is maybe people are just like, no, I really don't like either of them. So a little shift in the wind, and I'm like, oh, I'll go from the person I really don't like to the person I really don't like less. That's me. I don't know. What about you?
Of course, it's funny. But the thing that I picked up on and latched onto was, if you want to vote to protect democracy, you have to vote for Trump. And I think there's a couple things there. Obviously, it's ludicrous. Unfortunately, his base seems to think that's true. They don't realize this is a guy who led and inspired January 6th, which, despite I think some hyperbolic language in the liberal camp about the impact of January 6th, I do think it didn't help. It didn't protect our democracy, and there were legitimate threats to it, even if the act of storming into Congress wouldn't have changed the outcome. The problem with Trump's threats to democracy were outside of DC on January 6th. It was the fake electors. It was trying to overturn results in different states through the courts. January 6th was bad. It was more for show. What they did in 2020 and what they likely will do again in 2024, which is legal challenges to the outcomes. That's a greater threat to democracy, and people don't really see that because it's not as sensational. So that's, of course, ridiculous. But on these swing state polling numbers, I mean, if I was Trump, I wouldn't even care about the national average. That's really just, how's the popular vote going to be? And that's not how elections are decided. The swing states, and that he's leading in some pretty blue states like Wisconsin, that's really scary. I mean, Wisconsin has built up its apparatus, its organizing efforts, and its base in that state. Ben Wickler, who runs the Democratic Party in Wisconsin, is a former colleague of mine. The guy is fantastic. He is a great organizer, really, really sharp guy, can get a crowd fired up. Those are really bad numbers for Wisconsin, and I don't think it reflects anything that the Democratic Party and the organizing efforts in that state. That's people not having faith in Biden. That's people not being encouraged to get out and vote for Joe Biden. The problem is that he's a bad candidate, and Trump can probably cakewalk this election if those swing state numbers remain the same. But my God, we're seeing some stories. We covered it last night on the show. Now people in Biden's own camp are realizing, maybe the problem is him. You think? The guy's barely alive. Give me a break. How are we just now recognizing this? I don't know, Brett. Am I like way off base here or what?
No, I will say that Ben Wickler is such a good, organizer. I have his card. Like I have his business card, like right here in my desk. Like, yeah, I don't meet anyone, and I've met that guy. In terms of the swing states, yes, that is wildly important. That is going to be the thing that changes the tide. And then in terms of Biden and whether he's a good candidate, like this is what drives me nuts. And I am certain, because of what I say about wealth taxes, this is the one thing that I think I really like a lot of people who watch this show and other shows on this network really understand is the inside the beltway political apparatus of the Democratic Party loves people like Biden, and they love people like Hillary, who Biden at one point was super fun, man. Like a younger Biden now would totally just cakewalk it because he's like, I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Half this stuff's gonna be taken in the wrong way because I didn't really think about it before I said it. He was, the things that sunk him in the past is the guy who just says horribly stupid stuff would be an asset now if he could get it out of his mouth. He's old and Trump's old, and there's plenty of Mel Brooks is old, but Mel Brooks still makes sense. He still got his brain about him. That's the problem with Biden. We all know, we all see it. And it doesn't seem to be a priority to the inside the beltway Politico. And I don't understand why, after these same idiots, these same, Robbie Mook morons got in charge of the party and lost with Hillary, how they haven't learned the lesson. And why Biden himself isn't like, yo, listen, I get it. I look around and I get it. You already were the president, man. It's okay to give it to someone else.
Yeah, VP Biden, I'm with you there. If you take VP Biden, 2008, 2010, you put him in this race now, he's cleaning up. Now, it's very clear, and they talked about it in the 2020 primary. Democrats talked about it. He is losing his mind.
Yeah.
There were reservations about his mental capacities then, but then as soon as he became the nominee, it became a conspiracy theory and it was a stutter. No, it's not. Don't lie to us. We saw the transition over the past 15 years. There is something happening and it's not great, and it doesn't instill any confidence in voters.
When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?